Coming, and the Strawberry Festival is, what are we, 2-3 weeks away? About 3 weeks away. So it's coming up, and I'm guessing everybody's here because you've either been to the Strawberry Festival or you're excited about it coming, and we are too. And it's one of the things that we like is presenting history, and obviously you're interested in that too. So to start off, we're the Lebanon Museum Foundation. I'm the president, Paul Aziz. This is the vice president, Linda, and Linda Ziedrich. We have the curator here is Tani Morikawa. And let's see, Gary Marks is not here. He's on the board. Camellia is here, Camellia Candles. And Wayne Dykstra is not here. I think Jolie Root is here. There's Jolie. And so we have most of our board here. We're continuing to work towards securing a permanent home for the museum, and we're hopeful about the progress that's being made. We've made a couple presentations to the City Council, and it's been very positive. And I'll be honest that we're working right now on trying to get the old library and hospital building. Yay. And we are working very hard. The city is very interested in giving that to us or selling it to us at some cost. So we're working on that right now. It has to be approved by City Council, but it is something we're looking at right now, and it's very exciting. As we prepare for Lebanon's sesquicentennial, anybody know what that is? 150-year anniversary of the incorporation of Lebanon. So the sesquicentennial is coming up in 2028. We were born, Lebanon was born in 1878, I believe it was. And so that makes it 150 years. And if you believe in preserving Lebanon's history for future generations, we would appreciate your support, your donations to help us get this building. And when we do get the building, we're going to have expenses, obviously, to make it into a museum. So those are things that we need to do. And we appreciate your support. We do have, I believe we have a donation box up at front. We have a donation box up there. Also, you can donate online on our website. We have PayPal if you're interested in donating and helping. But we'd really like to create a lasting memory in Lebanon. And it's amazing that we're one of the few towns of our size that does not have a museum. I mean, Brownsville, Halsey, just all these little towns have museums. And we need to provide a resource to explain to people what our history is and our culture and how Lebanon has grown over the years. So our mission is to preserve, educate, and engage the community in the history and culture of the Lebanon area. And that's what we're trying to do tonight. Thank you for your support in tonight's presentation on the history of the Lebanon Festival. And I'll have Linda take it over. And thank you again for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
I think you can hear me, right?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to thank all the people from the Strawberry Festival for coming, especially the historian, Victoria Dabrowski, and I'll ask her to come up here in just a minute. But I also want to thank her two friends whose names I've forgotten. Could you tell us all?
I'm Peggy Dabrowski.
Oh.
Ginger Peterson.
Peggy and Ginger, thank you for coming and preparing this wonderful strawberry shortcake, which I guess some of you already have, and the rest of you can go up and get. Is that right?
Yes, anytime.
Okay, great. Well, right now, maybe Victoria could come up and tell us a little bit about the things that you've brought, and a little about the festival and your role in it.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm the historian for the festival, and Ginger is my co-chair, so she's also a historian. And so we set up a few different displays for you. We are also kind of new in role, so definitely our archive obviously has a lot of awesome things, and this is just kind of a peek of like some of the stuff we have. So like there's like the shortcake, and then goes into like kind of the buttons and the themes, and then of course you have your quartz back there, and so you can take look at all of those things. And there is the museum brought the massive collection up here, so that's really cool to check out also. Oh, and then there's also the video of some of the past parades. So, yeah, you can get up and check those out and get shortcake whenever you like. And there's enough for seconds if you'd like seconds.
Thank you, Victoria. This video is running on a loop, so maybe you've seen enough of it already, but Paul here has really studied it, and I think I'm going to ask him to narrate a little bit as it goes through, and you are welcome, while he does that, to get up and get shortcake and whatever else you want.
Okay, the footage on this video, it's been taken off of like the old 8mm film, and it was converted, and there was a group of people that was kind of the Lebanon historical group, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and another person, John Egan. Both of these groups of people took a lot of these videos and put them together. I believe that there's a rental at the library that you can take out a VHS tape that has this particular video on it. I took and spliced two videos together, and this first one is kind of in the 30s, 40s, I think more 40s, maybe even 50s on some of the pictures, but it's several different years of really cool footage. You can see this is downtown, those big speakers. Those were those big speakers right down. That gas station is right where now it's called the Optimist, was it the Plaza? That little parking lot where they were doing the farmer's market for several years. And this is kind of that central location where they always do that. And what's interesting is right about there is where we still do the announcing for the parade. So it's very similar. But we don't use those big megaphone speakers. I thought those were really cool. But the video is just amazing to have this. There's some footage later of the carousel, or I should say the Ferris wheel on 2nd, and well, it's really between 2nd and Main on Sherman Street, which is where a lot of the rides and things were back in that day. But you can really see downtown, and it hasn't changed a ton. I mean, there are some changes, but it's really fascinating. And there we go. That would be the old Crocker Bank there to the right on that corner. What is it now? It's a fitness place now. And also, the second part of this that I spliced in at the very end is 1911, Williams Jennings Bryan, who was a presidential candidate, came to Lebanon, and it was a big, big deal. And he came and he gave a big speech, and apparently they were trying to push the gold standard. Back then in 1911, it was the difference between the gold standard and silver. And what were they going to do? And I believe, wasn't his side the gold? He was trying to promote the gold standard. And eventually, we know that the gold standard did become the standard for our currency several years later. But he started that before the 1900s. It was in the late 1800s.
Yeah, he ran for president in 1896, 1900. That was the closest one. He lost to McKinley, and he ran again in 1908.
So we had a pretty famous person come to town even way back then. And that footage of towards the end of this is really interesting. There's the princesses that are, they're kind of watching and doing things while the other people are doing activities, and the queen is there, and the princesses. And there's a boxing match, which is really fascinating there. And it's just some really interesting, neat stuff. And there were, I think, a ballerina, somebody was playing the piano. That all looked like it was around kind of where the main event is right now, and City Hall, kind of in that part of town. It looked like that's where they were doing this. I can't say for sure. But let me scoot this up just a little bit so you can see. There's the princess there. And some of this now switches over in a second to the Rose Parade up in Portland. I think that is the start of it. Yeah, there's the big buildings there. So it goes to that for a few minutes, and I believe these films were shot by Sig Landstrom of Landstrom Jewelry. That family usually did a lot of the videos because in those days cameras were expensive and the jewelry store owner had, you know, cameras. So that made a lot of sense. Let me go to, this is the really old, kind of 1900-ish. This is the 1911 with William Jennings Bryan. That almost looks like Scroggins Mill back there in the back, but I'm not positive. There we go. This is the... Here we go. Got the dignitaries there. There's the princesses. There's the queen. And it looks like junior court maybe there in the front. And it's just so fascinating to see the entertainment was so different than what it would be today.
Where is this taking place? Where is this?
I believe that to the left of these folks, that building up at the top left kind of there, I don't have a pointer, but up there at the top, like that building across the top, I believe is the City Hall building, I believe. And I think this is kind of in front of where the main event is, kind of right there almost on the corner of Oak and Main Street. It kind of looks like that because there was a lot of trees and foliage around that building. And then the City Hall, it looks a lot like that building. And it would make sense because that would be kind of the central part of downtown.
There he is.
And there he is, William Jennings Bryan, giving a little speech. And it was a big deal when he came. He came in on the train. So it was really just this whole big production, that, like in the old movies that you would see. And it was really cool. These guys look like Gilligan. And kind of the long hair. Oh, there he is.
That's the hotel.
That was him, actually. I guess the other guy was on. And there's the Ferris wheel on Sherman Street.
Children's parade.
Junior parade. And you can see that carousel in the background. That's Sherman. So right next to that, to the right, would be like where the shooting range is. And boxing, obviously that was popular back in the day.
We don't do that today?
That's it's at the Strawberry Festival every year. Little boxing. All the dignitaries behind him looking at it.
Yeah, that was a manly sport in those days.
It was.
Kids.
Here we go. This might make you a little dizzy, but this is an actual point of view on the Ferris wheel. So this is on Sherman, just off of in between Main and 2nd, basically. And that's where they had a lot of the festivities back then. After the parade went by, then they would go over there and ride the rides. Pretty high-tech footage for the day.
Yeah, it makes me nauseated.
I know. That's like, ooh. And we'll go back to the beginning. So then we're back to the parade. But I don't know every detail. Everything is what I've looked at and tried to compare to what's downtown now. But you can see really well that this is looking northbound on Main Street, and to the right is where the announcers are, and that's, like I said, right at the Optimist corner, right that little corner there where there's like a parking lot now. There used to be a gas station there at one point. You can see it right there, the standard. That gas station's obviously no longer there. And there's the sign you can see right there for the streets. And we actually still have a sign like that talks about going, I think it's going to Zion. I can't remember, but it's got a sign going that way and going down into, up to Sweet Home. But there's the old buildings. I love the light scanners. Those are really cool in those days. I know, it's just amazing. And there's the gas station. And look at that, world's largest strawberry shortcake. I think we got some princesses there. And who would that be? The queen.
Any farther?
Santam tree. Here's another shot of those speakers. And there's the queen in her court.
Has anybody found those speakers anywhere?
That would be really cool. I don't know. They probably just threw them all away.
Probably.
If it's just prior to the war, it might have gone in for the war effort.
That's true. To me, this looks post-war, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell with the cars.
Yeah,
But the cars definitely are 40-ish.
yeah, it's definitely 40-ish.
And you couldn't get cars during the war, so
No.
probably right after.
There's a good, if you look to the right, can't see it, is that old, what was it? It used to be Wells Fargo Bank, and then now it's the gym. And that's just over to the right of this picture here. And once in a while when the camera pans, you can kind of see that brick building of it. But it's weird looking at it because you lose a little bit of your, trying to figure out where you're at in town, because that gas station's not there anymore, so that's gone, and that's where the empty lot is, that parking lot. Oh, and the kids getting candy.
Almost looks like ice cream.
Yeah.
Parade's over.
Yeah, the amount of people back in those days was just amazing.
Well, this was the big thing.
Yeah. Fire trucks.
Fire trucks like this here in town?
They did, but
Lebanon Fire Department.
Are they still at the fire department?
What's that?
The trucks like this, are they at the fire department?
They have one,
Okay.
and I don't know if it's that particular truck, but they do have one that looks kind of like that one. They brought it to a couple different events that I've seen, and that's really neat. That's a hard bike to ride. Lions Club.
And how you stop.
Tip over.
I bet Iron Rose is there somewhere.
Could be behind them.
Rose Fire.
Yeah, that was the other thing I saw in any of the footage I've seen is you see a lot of timber, a lot of the lumber, logging, and it's really neat. And look at the size of that tree.
you don't see that going down the road.
No, you don't. And what's neat is they were advertising their particular company.
Yeah.
And they have big signs on them. They were proud of that.
At this time, were strawberries still a big deal I'm rather new here, so were strawberries still a big production?
I'm not positive, but I think it was. I think actually my wife Mary grew up here and they picked strawberries when she was a kid. So that was like 70s, 80s. So even up to then, I believe that the strawberries were pretty popular. I don't know when they went away, but I'm kind of thinking 80-ish. I'm kind of thinking. If anybody else knows, feel free to chime in.
When the legislature legislated that you had to be at least 16 years old to
Yeah.
pick in berry fields, that pretty well,
Okay.
that pretty well did it for the,
Yeah.
for the farmers.
And that was probably around that same time when they were over legislating everything and they did the spotted owl and we lost our timber. That would be my guess. This is, again, jumping over to that Portland. And Tanya or somebody mentioned it, that we may have had a float there, it might even have been our princesses, but it's not defined and we just can't really tell. It's just,
Portland Fire Department.
yeah, it's just a few different floats. But you can definitely tell it's not Lebanon because of the big buildings.
Yeah, and it says PFD.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big 4-story there.
It's an unruly vehicle, they put a leash on
I know. Skip through the Portland Parade. There we go. I think we're back. Now we're back downtown. I'm guessing this is festivities and not the actual parade time, because they're in the street with the piano, and then there's the kids' parade. And that's early. That's old. I don't know what year that is, but
Yes, about the four.
I'm saying
it. No, it's
think 20s maybe?
1920s. It's probably 1910 to 1920.
okay. Might have been, even though it's a separate video, but it might have been around that same time when William Jennings was here.
Yeah.
There's the Lansdowne Jewelers back there. No artist. The other thing that always fascinates me is the dress that people have. The men, the women, I mean, they're in the parade, and we all know that when the parade goes on here in the first weekend of June, it is hot usually. Not always, but it's usually pretty warm. And these people are wearing full-on wool jackets and hats and suits. It had to be warm. Well, you can tell this was shot by Lanster. That's a nice shot of the 2nd Street, the Sherman Street.
Good. Doesn't that look safe?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the hotel?
So anyways, any other questions or anything? I don't have a ton of details. Like I said, these are just things that I've observed in the videos as I've watched them a lot and edited them. They did have beautiful cars.
Has the parade happened every year?
Yes. In fact,
For the pandemic.
how many years? 100? How many? 117 years. So the pandemic, did we do the parade or
I
not?
believe that,
Not during the pandemic or World War II.
yeah.
Okay.
Get a drive
That's right, yeah.
by, out park.
Like everything.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody wanted it, but just couldn't do it.
I wonder if Frank Rhodes is on
Like on that last one, maybe.
that. Yeah, those were World War I uniforms.
This is like
And we do
1910.
have in our collection, along with, this is a very small thing, but we have Frank Grove's World War I uniform.
World War
Would you
I.
tell him what we have on his?
His material, we have his World War I uniform, we have his World War I campaign hat. He was very active with the Foreign Legion. One of the, or Legion of, whatever we've got here in town. So his cap and his coat that went with that, he was very active in Lebanon's for years. And there's books that he collected. The one thing that I really appreciate is it's only about that big, but it is the Oregon Medal for having served in World War I. It's an amazing little piece.
That is beautiful.
And I think those dancers were guys.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then didn't we have a saddle from him? Did you mention that?
No, the saddle actually came from another donation, but
Okay.
it is a 1918 Cavalry McClellan saddle. So it's a military saddle that fits within that the time period.
So we got these great things, just like the collection of items that we have, a jacket that we have. We have a lot of stuff, but it's all in storage.
Yeah.
And she had to go unbury everything to go find things for the Strawberry Festival. So
Yeah.
that's why we really got to get a building, and we really got to get somewhere where, the goal is when we have our 150th anniversary, is to have a building that everybody can come to and visit and celebrate 150 years and use the museum as a key piece to celebrate with.
Now, I've got a piece on my computer about the history of strawberry growing in Lebanon. I wondered if you'd be interested in my reading that. It's posted back there, but it's kind of hard to read yourself on the board.
Read it.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay, before I do that, Victoria, we have some princesses here. You want to introduce them?
Do you guys want to see what Hi everyone, I'm Princess Peyton. I am 17 years old. My parents are John and Rachel Boyd. I am on Associate Student Body Council at high school as Public Relations Officer. After high school, I planned to go to LBCC to pursue a nursing career. And I wanted to be on this court because I really wanted to make an impact on my community and just meet all the amazing people that are involved in it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Princess Emma Estes. I'm 8 years old. My parents are Tony and Angela Estes, and I go to the Lebanon High School. My plans after graduation are to attend LCC and study to become an culture center. I'm involved in the National Honor Society after high school as a secretary. I've been involved with it for 3 years, and I'm also on ASB, Associated Student Body, as spirit coordinator. I wanted to be on the Lebanon Strawberry Board because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and my favorite memory so far has been we went to the Newport Parade. That was in first grade, and our parents made our float. So being able to see it for the first time with us on it was really special, just because I think they're really proud of us, and I'm really proud of them for the work that they've done. So that was a really cool moment for me, and I'm just proud of my accomplishments, and I think I'm proud to be a daughter to my parents. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions for our princesses?
When is the party?
It's June 4th.
Did you bring your buttons?
We didn't. I totally forgot. Because we have buttons available. I have some. You also.
Buttons for sale.
We would have bought it.
All right, well,
Thank you, ladies.
thank you. Okay, the Strawberry City in the Strawberry State. When Americans began settling in the Willamette Valley, strawberries grew abundantly here, but the tiny wild fruits were used for little but snacking. In 1852, Henderson Llewellyn of Milwaukee brought back from New York starts of the Hovey strawberry, North America's first important big-fruited cultivar. Unfortunately, Hovey wasn't self-fertile, so it produced no fruit. The Milwaukee nursery had no strawberries to sell until 1858, and for years after, demand was so poor that the nursery stopped raising them. Cultivated strawberries were popular in Europe on the East Coast and in California, but Oregonians were slow to warm to them. Hard to believe, huh? In the 1870s and 1880s, however, strawberry patches became increasingly popular among Oregonians. One La Fraser wrote Willamette Farmer that he grew 15 varieties of strawberries and that more than 600 varieties were available, though he thought only about 75 worthy of planting. Newspapers published articles on strawberry growing. Churches and civic groups held evening strawberry festivals, or socials, or sociables, as fundraisers. Participants would feast on strawberries and cream or ice cream. By 1889, growers were showing off marvelously big strawberries. Someone brought 2 berries into the Lebanon Express office that were between 6 and 7 inches around. In 1893, the Express reported Mr. LaForge displayed a strawberry that was 9 5/8 inches around. I'm not sure I believe this, but that is what the newspaper reported.
I think they make a typo.
Maybe.
Check the ruler.
In 1901, Oregon's commercial growers produced 175,000 crates of strawberries, valued at $210,000. In comparison, the state's grapes, blackberries, and raspberries combined were worth only $150,000. The Hood River Valley led strawberry production, but Willamette Valley farmers were beginning to compete. They had cheaper labor and land, nearby markets, and no need to irrigate. That would be true today. They started forming co-ops and planting canneries. Oregonians had many strawberry varieties to choose from in 1901. E. Hofer, the editor and publisher of the Salem Statesman, told his fellows in the Oregon Horticultural Society that he was testing 10 to 20 new varieties a year. He was looking for varieties that could stand up to canning. Hood River already had its own favorite variety, a local seedling that we today call the Hood. It was developed by Fred Clark of Mount Tabor and first planted at Hood River in 1883. It was an excellent shipper. In 1909, Oregon had nearly doubled the value of its strawberry production over 1901 to $407,500. In contrast, the total blackberry crop was valued at only $79,500. Around the turn of the 20th century, Lebanon area residents began taking strawberries seriously as a commercial crop. No better strawberries grow anywhere than on the rich Santiam bottomlands close to Lebanon, reported the Oregon Daily Journal in 1907. The strawberries make the growers from $150 to $250 an acre each year. Lebanon businessmen saw an opportunity. In promoting this new specialty crop, they could also promote their city. J.C. Meyer and A.M. Reeves led the planning of the first Strawberry Festival in 1909. Do you all know those names, Meyer and Reeves? Yeah. The Daily Capital Journal explained why. Lebanon strawberries are already shipped in considerable quantities, and the fine soils and splendid mountain air of the foothills produces a berry that cannot be equaled in any part of the valley. The cannery will follow at Lebanon as soon as there is a sufficient acreage, and the way to get the acreage is to show the world what you have in that line and show it with as much publicity as possible. The 3-day festival was a great success. Hattie Umenhofer won the grand prize for her crate of Marshall strawberries, which was auctioned off for $33. The Women's Civic Club held a flower show and a children's parade, and there were music and speeches. Although other towns, Roseburg, Salem, and Milton, were already holding strawberry festivals, Lebanon's was the one that would last. The following year, thousands attended the Flower and Strawberry Festival, which is what it was called. The flowers were roses and peonies. 40 crates of berries were entered for prizes. The editor of the Daily Capital Journal wrote, "The Lebanon strawberry is finding its way into the best markets in the state, and people are calling for them wherever they have been introduced. Lebanon has fairly won the distinction of being called the Strawberry City of Oregon. The local strawberry business kept growing. Lebanon exports more strawberries than any other place in the state, with the exception of Hood River, wrote the Sunday Oregonian in 1911. During the festival that year, Main Street was lined with booths and tents, and a beautiful exhibit of strawberries was shown in a long tent running down the middle of the street, according to the Morning Oregonian. The strawberry industry was booming not only in Lebanon, but around the state. By 1919, Oregon was producing 5% of the total U.S. strawberry crop by weight. Farmers advertised in the newspapers for pickers. By this time, Lebanon had its first large cannery to process strawberries and assorted other fruits and vegetables. Farmers pooled their fruit for sales to one cannery or another. Lebanon, Lacombe, and Scio all had their own strawberry pools. In the 1920s, strawberry producers across the United States began packing the fruit in 50-gallon barrels with sugar and freezing the barrels. By 1930, Salem, Woodburn, and Portland had major barreling operations, and Lebanon and Albany had smaller ones. Usually packers used 2 parts fruit to 1 part sugar. Eventually, producers began using smaller containers, 30, 10, and 5-gallon barrels made of fur and coated in paraffin, and number 10 and 1-pound cans lacquered. Marshall strawberries were considered best for barreling. Edinburghs, by now the second most popular variety, were usually packed in cans. By 1938, Oregon was producing more processed strawberries than any other state. Marshall strawberries, by the way, kind of disappeared after there was some disease problem. But I have some in my front yard if anybody wants to taste them. They really are different. In Lebanon, other crops were now overtaking strawberries in importance. In 1938, the Lebanon Berry Growers Association had about 50 acres of strawberries, for which they got 6.5 cents per pound. This was reduced from 126 acres in 1931. A total of 2,500 acres in the Lebanon area were in small fruit production in 1938, and 5,000 acres in tree fruits. So we used to have a lot of those too. Pests had become a problem for strawberry growers. There were strawberry nematodes, strawberry root weevils, spittlebugs, and aphids. There was a strawberry fruit worm, the larva of the omnivorous leaf-tear moth. In the 1950s, farmers were advised to spray chemicals for all these creatures. They spread fungicides, too, against mold and rot, and they contended against viruses. The state began posting inspectors to certify strawberry plants as virus-free. Despite the pests, the industry continued to thrive. Lebanites in their 70s and older remember picking strawberries for pocket money each summer. How many of you do? 1, 2, 3, 4? Maybe, okay. In 1958, the Lebanon Festival featured its largest cake in 25 years of baking. Big enough to serve 14,000 people, it was 10 by 16 feet, pyramided to 8 feet, and served with fresh Lebanon-grown Marshalls. The same year, the Salem Chamber of Commerce asked the Salem School Board to adjust the school year to accommodate the occasional early strawberry season and, in quotes, the need for youngsters in the fields to pick them. Okay. Although Lebanon today has no strawberry farms, not close to town anyway, Oregon still ranks third among the states in strawberry production. In 2020, about 300 Oregon farms produced 11 million pounds of berries. That's it.
I'm always fascinated by the dollar value, so I looked something up. In 1907, the value of an acre of strawberries was about $250, and today that's about $9,000 an acre. And that woman in 1909 who bought a crate of strawberries for $33, that's $1,100. She was a very wealthy woman.
Wow, that's impressive.
I have a question. Where was the cannery located? What kind of cannery?
I think the cannery was right over on 3rd by the railroad. Is that right? No?
There's one on Fort Drive.
There ended up being more than one. So what did somebody say?
Fort Drive.
On Gore Drive? Yeah, I don't know about
Lee
that.
Carter had it. Lee Carter said, Strawberry candy.
And that question will be answered when the museum opens. I've already planned that exhibit.
And you know what?
Third and Sherman across from Scroggins, kitty corner from Scroggins.
Oh. Right before we came tonight, my wife brought some strawberries from the K Family Farms. If you haven't had those, have you had any of the local strawberries yet?
Not yet.
K Family Farms is out the highway right before you get towards I-5.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
right on the corner there.
Yeah.
Really good. And there's Grandpa's down here too.
Yeah, I love
They're both
Grandpa's.
really good. But unfortunately, we don't have any real local. There's some small farms, but nothing really big. But boy, they're so different. And I grew up in Southern California. And the strawberries were airy, and they didn't have juice in them. They were really weird. They were just different. And the strawberries here are amazing.
Are you talking 34?
Highway
K
34.
Farm?
Highway 34, yeah, K Family Farm.
Right by the.
Yeah, right before you hit I-5. And the prices, because it's funny they said that, because I think my wife said it's like $40 a flat now. It's got really expensive. 48. Yeah, so I was thinking the $30 was a good deal, but when you do the conversion to today, that's a lot of money.
That's what we're doing. They're giant berries, those were giant berries.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah. Well, make sure you get your strawberry shortcake. Did you guys run out?
How was the strawberry shortcake?
It was good.
Good.
Thank you for bringing the strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't, make sure you check out all of the displays around, and this is kind of neat to see the history of the Strawberry Festival, and hopefully we'll see you out at the Strawberry Festival this year.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Strawberry candy.
I don't know if they're. What is the Strawberry Festival theme this year?
Strawberry night.
Strawberry Night.
Poor baby.
Yeah, you